Welcome back, Eagles fans. It's time to break down everything happening with our team, the highs, the lows, and the things that have got us talking this week. Let's start off with something that's been frustrating a lot of people, and that's the performance of Saquon Barkley. Man, it's tough because last year this guy was a driving force, helping push the team over the finish line and securing that Super Bowl. You remember the plays, the explosive runs, the moments where he seemed untouchable. And it's hard to reconcile that image with what we're seeing this season. Watching the Alt-22 clips, there's no sugarcoating it. He's had lanes, he's had opportunities, but something just hasn't clicked. Sometimes it's a hesitation, a second guessing, an attempt to make the big play when the smart move would have been to take the open hole. And that's not what we saw last year. There was a decisiveness then that seems missing now, and this isn't to say that the line is solely to blame. Yes, the Eagles' offensive line has had struggles, and there's no denying it. But when you look at Tank Bigsby, who's running behind the exact same line, there's a consistency in positive plays. That's hard to ignore. Tank Bigsby isn't flashy. He doesn't make the highlight reel with crazy cuts or jukes. He sees a gap. He runs hard. He falls forward. He makes it count. His first down runs are almost always positive. And he's shown the ability to turn situations that look like nothing into tangible yardage. 18 carries, 164 yards, averaging over 9 yards per carry, and he's doing it behind a line that, frankly, we've seen struggle. It's not to say Bigsby is better than Saquon, not at all. But it does make you wonder if Saquon could elevate his game a bit more. If he could push through those minor hesitations and take advantage of the same opportunities. The contrast is striking when you see play after play, where Bigsby finds something that looks like nothing and makes it into a gain, while Saquon sometimes seems to overthink it. And it's not just about the numbers on the stat sheet. It's about the energy and momentum a strong run game brings to the team. We've been rotating through different backs, giving snaps to Will Shipley, trying to mix things up. But the consistency hasn't been there. Bigsby deserves more opportunities. And it's clear that when he's in the game, positive plays happen. I'm talking about ramping up his carries, giving him a real chance to show what he can do over multiple series, instead of treating it like a situational experiment, and this is critical, especially when Jalen Hurts isn't carrying the load in the run game as much this season. The balance and rhythm of the offense rely on having reliable backs who can convert opportunities into yards and maintain forward momentum, and Bigsby has proven he can do that. But let's not dwell only on the challenges. There's also a lot to celebrate, particularly when it comes to Nico Dean. Man, this guy has been on fire, consistently making plays that change games. 3 sacks in 3 games, and it's not just random, it's methodical. It's consistent. Watching him in Green Bay and Philadelphia and Arlington, Texas, you see a player who's dialed in, executing his assignments with precision and aggression. He's beating blockers, getting to the quarterback, making tackles behind the line of scrimmage, and adding a real impact on the defensive front. Nico Dean's development has been incredible. The early years were rough, sure, but he's grown, he's adapted. And now he's taking the next step in his career. His performance in coverage has improved. His presence on the field is noticeable, and even after an injury, his resilience is remarkable. He has the makings of a player who could be considered for Comeback Player of the Year if we think about the trajectory of his recovery and performance. He's showing up in a big way when it counts, and it's exciting to see a player like that flourish after facing early setbacks. At the same time, the team has to make some strategic moves, especially at safety, with Andrew Mukuba possibly out for the season due to an ankle injury. The depth at that position is concerning. Andre Sam and Sidney Brown are talented, no doubt, but they simply aren't enough to carry the team's safety responsibilities through the rest of the season. The logical move, the one that could shore up this vulnerability, is to bring in a proven player like Justin Simmons. He's familiar with the system, he's a consistent performer, and he could immediately upgrade the safety position. The timing is critical because the team can't rely solely on the current roster to handle upcoming challenges. Particularly with tough matchups looming, the Eagles have to consider not just immediate performance but long-term stability. And a move like Simmons would provide both. Going back to the running game for a moment, it's worth emphasizing the contrast between the different backs on the roster. Saquon Barkley has undeniable talent and past performance that speaks for itself. But when you see Bigsby turning minimal openings into significant gains, It's a clear signal that the team could benefit from a more balanced approach. It's not about replacing Saquon. It's about maximizing the resources available and ensuring that each snap has the potential to move the chains. The coaching staff has options, and the smart use of Tank Bigsby could provide a spark in situations where the usual options haven't yielded consistent results. It's about strategy, about leveraging talent, and about creating positive plays that energize the team and the fans alike. Meanwhile, the special teams situation has raised concerns as well. Xavier Gipson has struggled with ball security in a way that the team cannot afford, especially on kickoffs. A fumbling rate of 32% is alarming, and the unnecessary momentum given to opponents cannot continue. Fans want reliability, especially in situations where a single mistake can shift the outcome of a game. With CVY available and showing promise, the decision to continue experimenting with Gipson seems questionable. There are real opportunities to strengthen special teams while mitigating risks, and it's time for the coaching staff to make those adjustments. And while it's important to discuss these challenges, the excitement and promise from players like Nico Dean cannot be overlooked. He's demonstrating a level of consistency and playmaking ability that few can match, and it's a reminder of what the roster is capable of when players step up. It's also a testament to the importance of evaluating talent not just on reputation or past performance, but on current contribution and potential impact. Whether it's through increased snaps for Bigsby or strategic additions to the safety position, the team has the tools to address weaknesses while capitalizing on emerging strengths. The dynamic within the Eagles roster is fascinating this season because it shows the tension between established stars and rising talent. Barkley, a proven superstar, facing off against the steady, efficient play of Bigsby, creates a narrative about decision-making, opportunity, and execution. Meanwhile, defensive playmakers like Nico Dean are carving out roles that are essential to the team's success, emphasizing that the season isn't just about the headline names, but about every contribution that moves the needle. It's a reminder that football is a team sport, and the nuanced choices made by coaches and players alike can define the trajectory of the season. All right, Eagles fans, picking up where we left off, we have to continue examining the moves and decisions that will define this season. The reality is, this team is in a delicate position where talent, opportunity, and timing intersect, and every choice on roster management matters. While Saquon Barkley has been inconsistent this season, the coaching staff has options that could reshape the offense if they're willing to adjust their approach. Tank Bigsby has proven he can handle an increased workload, turning minimal gaps into explosive plays, and yet he hasn't been utilized to his full potential. This is about more than just individual performance. It's about the rhythm and consistency of the offense as a whole. Every run, every carry, every decision in the backfield affects not just the yards gained, but the momentum, the morale, and ultimately the outcome of the game. Bigsby is efficient, decisive, and strong. He's the kind of back who doesn't overthink but executes flawlessly, which is exactly what the Eagles need when the game is on the line. And speaking of execution, the quarterback and offensive line dynamic can't be ignored. Yes, Jalen Hurts carries a heavy load, and yes, the offensive line has struggled at times. But even with those challenges, there's a tangible difference in the plays that succeed versus the ones that falter. Bigsby's success is a case study in maximizing what's available. He's not flashy, but he's reliable, the kind of reliability that allows a team to plan drives, control the clock, and dictate tempo. Meanwhile, Barkley, with his elite talent and explosive ability, is being asked to create plays in a system where hesitation or misreading lanes can turn potential gains into stalled drives. This juxtaposition is fascinating because it highlights a broader strategic question. How do you balance talent utilization with situational efficiency? Barkley can break a game open, but Bigsby ensures that the team moves forward consistently. That balance is critical, especially in a season where every yard matters and consistency can be the difference between a playoff push or falling short. And then there's the defensive side of the ball, which continues to be both a strength and an area of concern. Nico Dean's rise has been a beacon of hope for Eagles fans. 3 sacks in 3 games, consistently beating blockers and making high-impact plays in critical moments. He's showing the kind of growth and consistency that teams rely on from their defensive stars. The fact that he's contributing not just in pass rushing, but in coverage adds layers to the defensive strategy. giving the coaching staff options and flexibility. Watching Dean in action, you see a player who has not only recovered from earlier struggles, but has elevated his game, becoming a cornerstone of the defense. His development is emblematic of what makes the Eagles exciting this season. A mix of established talent, emerging stars, and the ability to adapt under pressure. At the same time, there's a glaring need at safety that cannot be ignored, with Andrew Makuba likely sidelined for the remainder of the season due to injury. The depth chart is suddenly thin. Andre Sam and Sidney Brown are talented, but they can't carry the unit on their own, especially when facing offenses with versatile, dynamic playmakers. The logical and potentially game-changing move is bringing in Justin Simmons. He's proven reliable and familiar with the system, which would allow the Eagles to stabilize a critical position. Simmons' addition would immediately shore up a vulnerability, giving the defense both experience and leadership. Safety is a position where mistakes can be costly, and having someone of Simmons' caliber could prevent critical errors, maintain coverage integrity, and give the rest of the unit confidence to play aggressively. This is more than just a roster adjustment. It's about creating stability and allowing the defense to perform at its peak potential. And while we're discussing personnel moves, special teams can't be overlooked. Xavier Gibson has been struggling with ball security, and it's becoming a liability. A fumbling rate of 32% on kickoffs is unacceptable, and it's impacting field position and game momentum in ways the team cannot afford. Meanwhile, CVY has been sitting on the practice squad, reliable and ready to contribute. Yet Gibson continues to see opportunities despite repeated mistakes. This is a moment where the coaching staff needs to make a decisive choice. Field position matters. Mistakes can't be tolerated, and fans want to see smart, consistent decision-making. Moving Gibson off special teams and giving Fee the chance he deserves isn't just logical. It's necessary for the overall efficiency of the team. Circling back to the offensive backfield, the ongoing discussion about running back distribution remains critical. Saquon Barkley's potential is undeniable, but when Bisbee produces consistent positive plays, there's a clear argument for rethinking snap distribution. Shipley has had his chances, but the returns haven't justified the repeated opportunities. Bisbee's style, strong, decisive, and relentless, is exactly what the Eagles need in certain situations, particularly when trying to sustain drives or control clock management. Increasing his role could also alleviate some of the pressure on Barkley, allowing him to focus on high-impact plays without the burden of being the only reliable back on the field. This strategic approach to the run game could shift the balance of the offense, making the team more versatile and harder to defend against. And let's not forget about the mental aspect of the game. Confidence and momentum are crucial. When a player like Bisbee is executing consistently, it gives the entire team a boost. Players start to trust each other more, the quarterback has more options, and the offensive rhythm improves. Meanwhile, defensive players like Dean feed off that energy, knowing that the team's overall performance is improving, which allows them to take calculated risks and make game-changing plays. Football is as much about momentum and psychology as it is about physical ability, and the Eagles have the opportunity to harness that through smart deployment of talent, both on offense and defense. FlyEaglesFly News family, smash subscribe and hit like. Your support keeps the freshest Philadelphia Eagles updates flying in. Drop your take in the comments and let's talk birds. Whispers are turning into a roar in the football world, as the Eagles seem poised to shake the league to its core. According to sources close to the team, blockbuster signings are on the horizon, and the buzz is so intense that ESPN reportedly couldn't resist breaking the news. Fans and insiders alike are holding their breath, speculating on who these game changers could be, as the franchise appears ready to make a statement that could redefine its future. The excitement stems not just from the players' reputations, but from the sheer audacity of the rumored moves. Rumors suggest the acquisitions are not minor tweaks to the roster, but genuine power plays, athletes capable of transforming the team's offensive and defensive strategies overnight. Analysts are already theorizing about potential formations, lineup changes, and how these additions could influence the league's balance of power. Every sports bar and social media thread is alive with conjecture, with supporters imagining the electrifying possibilities if the reports prove true. While the Eagles organization has remained cryptically silent, insiders hint that an official announcement is imminent. The mere suggestion of a dual signing at this scale has fueled speculation about the team's ambitions. Are the Eagles positioning themselves as immediate championship contenders? Could this be a prelude to a season that defies expectations? Pundits are weighing every angle, from salary cap implications to locker room dynamics, dissecting every leak and rumor for clues, adding to the drama. Rival fans are both envious and anxious, aware that if the whispers are accurate, the Eagles could emerge as a force to be reckoned with. Meanwhile, the sports media is in overdrive, teasing potential reveals and countdowns that only amplify the anticipation. In the locker room and on social media, excitement is palpable, with fans speculating endlessly which stars are stepping onto the Eagles' field. And how will they mesh with the existing squad? One thing is certain, whether these rumors materialize exactly as predicted or not, the mere possibility of the high-impact signings has already sent shockwaves through the league. The Eagles are at the center of a storm of speculation, and the football world is watching with bated breath, eager to see if these rumors will turn into reality and redefine the team's destiny. That's a wrap from FlyEaglesFly News. If you want the fastest Eagles updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Sound off in the comments. Let's talk birds.